guys, it's your girl from Philly. Welcome to another episode of Handcrafted Wines, where we make great wine from home the fun and easy way. Before we get started, please remember to like, share, subscribe, and click that notification bell so you don't miss any episodes. In today's episode, we're going to be making lemon wine. It's a very simple recipe, and our ingredients are the juice of 12 lemons, 3 cups of white sugar, the peel of 4 lemons, 4 medjool dates that I've pitted. And as far as our usual players today, we're only going to be using our dynamic duo, which is our yeast nutrient and our yeast energizer. And our yeast is going to be Red Star Premier Classique, my favorite. Okay, let's get started. Well, before we get started, today is my mother's birthday. She would have been 85 years old today, so I'm going to do today's episode a little different. I'm going to have some lemon wine, as well as make a batch of lemon wine, because yellow was my mother's favorite color. So this is a batch of lemon wine I made about, I want to say 8 weeks ago. It has yet to clear, but it's ready to be drank. It's ready to be drank. So I wanted to try a little bit today. Now, for my mother's birthday, I'm probably going to be drinking quite a bit of this. My mother used to call a cocktail a smile. So today we're having a lemon wine smile for my mom. And the very first thing we want to do is swirl it in the glass. Now, lemon wine really doesn't have a lot of body to it. I did have golden raisins in this batch. Today I'll be using medjool dates for a little bit more body. But it typically is very refreshing, very bright, and a delicious taste, especially in the summertime. So I'm going to taste it. Well, I'm going to smell it first. It's very bright. I smell nothing but lemon. And this wine came out to be 13% alcohol by volume. So it's not a high alcohol by volume, but I kind of prefer it that way for a cool sipping wine. This is actually one of the wines I would drink on ice, and it would be fantastic. So now we're going to taste it. This is good. I'm going to probably drink the whole bottle, guys. This is very bright, very lemony, very refreshing. And this bottle probably won't get a chance to clear because it's going to be finished. But this is a very, very delicious wine. And that's basically what we're making today. The ingredients, again, the only difference in what we're making today is we'll be using the medjool dates instead of using golden raisins. So let's get started. Now, the very first thing that I want to do, as always, I want to dissolve our 3 cups of sugar, and I'm going to be using all 3 cups of sugar. So we don't have to measure. See a little bit of sugar that's stuck to the bottom of it, but that's okay. I can move that around. Oh, it moved itself. My dishes just came out of the dishwasher, so they were hot. They had a little steam on them. Okay, and I'm going to dissolve it with some warm water. The water is actually not very hot, but it doesn't have to be extremely hot in order to dissolve our sugar. And I use quite a bit for dissolving the sugar, but it's okay. One of the things about lemon juice is it's extremely acidic, and too much acid would prevent the yeast from thriving in the batch. So we want to be able to dilute this lemon juice quite a bit. Or maybe I should have made it hot. I'm actually going to sip some wine while I'm dissolving this because this is quite good. I was on a podcast a couple of weeks ago, and one of the wines that I had taken was lemon wine, but it had the chance to age so it was perfectly clear. And it's the only thing that stops it from being perfectly clear is that all of the sediment has to settle to the bottom. If it's just your wine, it's not a big deal. But of course, if you're going to share it or gift it or present it at an event, you want it to be perfectly clear when you serve it. So the sugar is completely dissolved, but it's not totally clear. And that's just because we didn't use absolutely totally hot water. Now I'm going to use a straining bag today, and it's yellow. The reason why it's yellow is because we made mango wine with the same straining bag. The reason I'm using a straining bag simply is to hold the medjool dates, the peels, and to keep some of the pulp out of the batch. It's not a big deal if you do get a lot of pulp in your batch. Some is going to fall to the bottom, some is going to rise to the top, but to the most part, they're not going to be a problem. We're just going to have a straining bag anyway, so we might as well keep the lemon juice inside the straining bag. The first thing that I'm going to add is my medjool dates, and they're pretty big. I pitted them already. It amazes me how much sugar can be in a fruit like this. Dates are extremely sweet to the point where you can actually substitute them for sugar or syrup. Okay, so 4 medjool dates, and that gives us a little bit more body because again, lemon juice is quite refreshing and quite delicious, but it's not a very full-bodied wine on its own. And now we're going to add our lemon peel. Now, the other thing is my mother loved roses. Yellow roses were her favorite. So the fact that I turned my peels into roses, this is really kind of a dedication to you, Mom. And we always want to remember when using lemon peel that we don't include the pith. The pith would make your entire batch bitter. And that would be a shame to kind of go through all this work and wait so many months just for it to be extremely bitter because we didn't make sure that the pith wasn't taken off of the peel. And now we're going to add our lemon juice. Whoop, I'm spilling a little bit, guys. There we go, much better. Like I said, lemon juice is extremely acidic. It's more acidic than any other citrus fruit. So it's about 10 times more acidic than a grapefruit, 5 times more acidic than a lime, way more than an orange. I don't even know what percentage. But it's extremely acidic, and we definitely want to make sure that it has plenty of water to dilute it before we finish our batch. Okay, it's looking kind of good so far. I'm going to get these out of the way. And then the only thing else that we have to add to this, excuse me. She would like that. She would have liked that a lot. The only thing that we have to add to this is our yeast nutrient and yeast energizer. I'm going to add them now. And then I'm going to fill this with some cool water because we're done with the straining bag. It's actually not going to be very full at all. One more time to make sure it's nice and tight. And I think that's enough. There's not a lot of tension in there, so it doesn't really have to be so many knots on it. Okay, now we're going to add some cold water. And we're going to stop there because even though lemon juice is not full of pectin, lemon wine has a tendency to blow over. when we're making the wine. So I don't want to mess in the house. I have enough wine blowouts. I don't want to purposely make one. So we're going to stir this. Get my long spoon. And it's about the color of this batch. So really it's going to be about that color until I let it rest and clear. And I'm going to let this one rest and clear. I think I'm going to save this until her birthday next year and drink it then. Oh, it smells so bright and lemony. This is absolutely just the perfect wine if you're just sitting out on the porch, or you're camping, or you're going on a picnic. It goes so well with, well, just drinking it on its own, but I can imagine this with crab. I love crab, or any type of seafood, shrimp or anything like that, even fish. It would taste so amazing. It actually tastes really good with anything that has like a tomato base to it, like Italian food, a pasta or lasagna. Lemon wine would actually go really well with that. It's really, really good. I may make a second batch just to make sure that we have plenty of lemon wine around the house. That batch came out to be 3 bottles, which is okay. That's not too bad. This is probably going to be more like 4.5 bottles. And if you were to make a 5-gallon batch, of course, you would get 25 bottles out of a 5-gallon batch. So you would just multiply this recipe by 5 if you want to have a 5-gallon batch for the entire summer. Okay, so now we're going to add our yeast. I'm going to keep a really good eye on this because it's such a highly acidic batch, just to make sure that the yeast is taking off okay. If I find that it's not, I will add either more yeast nutrient, or more yeast, and well, the two of them would be together, yeast nutrient and yeast energizer. I would add them together, but I would keep my eye on this until I actually see that there's fermentation taking place, because we don't want a good thing to go to waste. We're going to add our yeast. And just, for the sake of observation, I'm going to check and see whether or not it looks like it's hydrating quickly. It's kind of on the slow side. That's not a big deal. That doesn't mean we don't have a good batch. It just may take more time in order for the yeast to actually spread out, hydrate, separate from its yeast cake so it can get to work. Yep, it's taking a little bit of time. I'm just going to swirl a little bit. I'm not even going to stir it. Okay, now it's starting to do a little something. Yep, it looks like it's kind of picking up. So I will stir it a little bit. Okay. Most of my very full bodied fruit, like strawberries, blueberries, raspberries, all of those fruits, they start fermenting immediately. This may take a little bit of time, but again, I'm already aware of the fact that it's a very highly acidic fruit, and we did dilute it very well, so that's good. It's looking good. I'm seeing some bubblage, which is a good sign. Okay, so we're going to add our lid with our drilled hole and our grommet. I'm getting a little tipsy from the wine, guys. I'm about to pour a little more too. It's pretty good. And as far as back sweetening it, I am doing keto. So I actually back sweetened my wine with sucralose, which to me is the closest thing to sugar. What I'll do is I'll post the brand that I use. It's EZ-Sweetz. I'll post the brand in my description if you want to buy some, but it doesn't affect my ketosis at all. And it actually tastes really close to sugar in things like food and wine, which is rare. Many sweeteners have an off taste or a bitter taste or just weird. And this is the only one that I know that kind of just tastes just like sugar, but it's extremely sweet. So you only need a little bit. Like I think in this bottle, I may have put maybe 10 or 12 drops to sweeten the entire bottle. And it tastes fantastic. All right, I'm seeing some action. I'm seeing a little bubbling. I'm seeing some foaming at the top line. I don't know if you guys can see that ring, but there's a little foaming going on there. And there's plenty of sugar in here, so there's lots of food for the yeast. Hopefully we'll be going to, oh, I got to take a hydrometer reading. That's the thing I forgot to do. It's the wine. I blame it on the wine. But I'm hoping that we get to about a 15% ABV. We'll see what happens. So let's just test to see where we are. And wherever we are right now, as far as a hydrometer reading, that's exactly where we're going to be. We're not going for anything further than that. I know this was kind of quick for a batch. Okay, we're almost at goal. Just another drop and we'll be there. There, 250 milliliters in our cylinder. And now we're going to add a hydrometer. Oh, I went back to my original bottle. The big bottle was kind of a nuisance. It was hard for me to get the sprayer in the right to the right level where it wouldn't spray all over everything or wouldn't give a direct spray. So I went back to my original bottle, which is my friend. Okay, and that's actually good. We're not very high as far as our reading, but we're in a good place. Let me take a look at the numbers while it's in there. Yep, I see it. Okay. So according to my hydrometer reading, we're at 1.085, which is not bad at all. So I'm actually satisfied with 1.085. And according to the hydrometer, that means that we're going to be at about 8.5, about 12 to 13%. So it won't be as high as I'd like, but I'm okay with that. And I'm going to go to brewersfriend.com and use their calculator. I really trust their calculator. Let's turn this down. Okay. I had the calculator up, but it disappeared. There we go. So the original gravity reading was 1.085, and we're expecting our wine to go down to 0.990. So we'll go with that, the final gravity, 0.990. So according to brewersfriend.com, our expected ABV is 12.47%. Which is not bad. And if I want it to be a lot higher, I can, during the fermentation process, just add sugar, which would, of course, raise the ABV for us. But I don't know if I want to. We'll see. I want it to be about 15%, but if it's not, I don't feel like it's a failure. It's really close to what this is. I got to get this batch done. Okay. You know what's interesting is that's just solely lemon, but I'm tasting like hints of, I would say, cinnamon. I'm picking up hints of cinnamon. It's just amazing what wine does. But the predominant flavor and the predominant taste is absolutely lemon. Okay, we're going to add this back to our batch. Okay, so your yeast does this thing where it starts off at the top and then it plummets down to the bottom of the fermenter. Then it starts to slowly rise up. It's rising back up, which means there's some activity going on, and I'm excited about that. All right, so now we're going to add our lid with our drill hole and grommet. And we're going to fill our airlock with some star sand. Okay, and add the cap. I'm going to spray a little star sand at the tip just to make sure it glides in easily. And that's it. That's it for our lemon wine batch. Again, our ingredients were the juice of 12 lemons. They were very big lemons, so we ended up with about a little bit more than 4 cups of juice, 3 cups of sugar, and just our usual players were yeast nutrient and yeast energizer, and Premier Classique yeast was in this batch. Oh, okay, I see the white line again. So it's doing something. But I will be keeping a close eye on it for the next 7 days. I'll be stirring it every day. I actually will probably just swirl this around inside the vessel without putting a spoon inside. And then I'll be testing it in about 15 days. And then about 3 months, we could drink it if we wanted to, 6 months if we wanted to. But this baby is going to be here until next year. So have a wonderful day. Thank you for spending this time with me. This toast is to you, Viola, and you have a great day, guys. Bye-bye. So good.